Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking one of the most fascinating taxonomic shakeups in the entire animal kingdom. We're looking at Phylum Ctenophora, affectionately known around here as the case of the kicked-out cousin. You see, this incredibly unique, small group of organisms was originally lumped right in with colenterids, but they eventually caused quite a scientific stir and literally had to be separated. Why? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today's high-energy study guide. First, we'll cover the colincerate separation, then the anatomy of sea walnuts, followed by their bioluminescence and marine habitat. After that, we'll check out their shared biological systems, and finally wrap up with reproduction and development. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The colincerate separation.
So this is where the biological drama really starts. For the longest time, scientists thought these organisms belonged right alongside jellyfish and hydras in the colenterate family. I mean, they looked alike, they acted alike. So you might be wondering, why were ctenophores suddenly separated? What was the missing piece of the puzzle that forced biologists to completely redraw the taxonomic map? Well, it turns out they were missing a very specific and very important biological weapon.
And it all comes down to this absolutely crucial point. Colenterids, or conidians, possess conidoblasts. Those are your specialized stinging cells. But ctenophores, they have absolutely no conidoblasts. Zero. Zip. While they might look exactly like a jellyfish, they are totally non-poisonous and will never sting you. This absolute absence of stinging cells is the primary reason they were evicted and given their own distinct phylum. A real game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of Sea Walnuts. Now that we know why they're in their own group, let's talk about what they actually look like. Let's break down the name itself, because it makes perfect sense. Ctenophora comes from two words. Cteno means comb, or cangi if you prefer, and phora means bearer. These are incredibly soft, jelly-like organisms that bear literal comb-like structures made of cilia. When these cilia move, they propel the organism so smoothly through the water. It's basically like watching tiny swimming hair combs navigating the ocean. And this brilliantly illustrates a magic number you absolutely must lock into your brain for your NEET exams right now. 8. There are exactly 8 rows of these ciliated comb plates on their bodies. Not 7, not 9. Exactly 8 distinct combed plates working perfectly together to create their movement. Now, what's really cool is how those 8 rows actually give them their famous nicknames. Think about a walnut shell for a second. You know, those distinct raised lines and ridges? Well, ctenophores have 8 lines of comb plates that look exactly like the ridges on a walnut. Because of this, combined with their soft, non-poisonous bodies, they earned the universally recognized nicknames sea walnuts and comb jellies. It's a pretty perfect description, honestly. Okay, for your exams, you need to know 2 essential examples, Ctenoplana and Pleurobrachia. Now, if you look at diagrams of Pleurobrachia in your textbook, you're going to notice something a little tricky. It actually has tentacles. But remember our golden rule. Even though it has tentacles, it is completely free of stinging cells. No kinetoblasts whatsoever. It is a harmless comb jelly through and through, so don't let that trick you on test day. All right, Section 3, Bioluminescence and Marine Habitat. So where do these fascinating little comb jellies actually hang out? Well, while colenteriates can be found in both fresh and marine water, ctenophores are exclusively marine. And I really want to stress that word for you, exclusively. You are literally never going to find them in a freshwater lake or river. They are strictly ocean dwellers, living as colonial, free-swimming organisms out in the salty sea. But here is where they truly shine, quite literally. Ctenophores possess bioluminescence. This is their striking ability to emit light and glow super brightly in the dark ocean night. If you ever see a glowing, floating jelly with distinct lined ridges in the deep sea, you are almost certainly looking at a comb jelly. It's one of their absolute most defining and, frankly, most magical features. On to Section 4, Shared Biological Systems. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, if they're so totally different, why were they ever grouped with colenteriates in the first place? Well, if we compare their foundational biological organizations side by side, it's a perfect match. Look at the level of organization. Both are at the tissue level. Symmetry? They both have radial symmetry. Column? Both are acolumnate, meaning they completely lack a body cavity. So yeah, it's really no wonder early biologists just lumped them together. Let's move to and see how this builds into their daily physiological functions. Both groups share intra- and extracellular digestion. They both handle respiration through simple diffusion right across their body surface. Circulation, that's done via the gastrovascular cavity in both. And crucially, both utilize a primitive nerve net. In ctenophores, this nerve net relies on apolar neurons, meaning these are really primitive nerve cells that completely lack typical dendrites and axons. So their day-to-day biological operations are practically identical.
And finally, Section 5, Reproduction and Development.
All right, this is the ultimate deal breaker. This is exactly where their life cycles starkly separate them from their taxonomic cousins, officially sealing their fate as an independent phylum. Coelenterate, as you know, have a dual life cycle, the sessile asexual polyp stage and the swimming sexual medusa stage. But ctenophores, they completely lack the stationary asexual polyp stage. They exist only in a moving sexual form, period.
For your exams, I want you to memorize what I call the rule of exclusion. Because they lack that asexual polyp stage, everything is strictly singular. They have only sexual reproduction. They utilize only external fertilization, and they undergo only indirect development. There is no duality here at all, like you see in coenterates. Just remember that crucial word for ctenophores, only.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. If ctenophores lost the asexual polyp stage entirely, but somehow evolved this incredible glowing bioluminescence and those specific 8 ciliated combs, what does this tell us about their truly unique evolutionary journey in the deep sea? How did the dark, strictly marine environment shape this fascinating kicked-out cousin over millions of years? Definitely something to think about as you review your notes today. Good luck with your studies, future doctors, and as always, stay curious.